All right. Thanks everyone for joining us for today's webinar. Today's webinar is called Failing to Plan is Planning to Fail. And in today's webinar, we're going to be discussing how to develop a departmental plan, which is necessary in order for you to be successful in the reliability space. You got to have. And with that, my name is Joe Anderson. I'm the COO, co-founder of ReliabilityX. Have a lot of certifications in the industry. I've been doing this for a number of years. I appreciate you joining us today. About ReliabilityX, so who we are, we're an empowerment company. What that means is we focus on training, teaching, hand-holding, mentoring, coaching, and working with people side by side, helping to develop their skills in order to do what's necessary to be successful in the maintenance and operational space. And we truly believe that the more people we help, the more we train, the more we help, the better the world will be. We also take great pride in who we have working for us. We have 2 CMRP of the Year award winners. We also have the Maintenance and Reliability Best Practice book by Ramesh Galati. Ramesh is one of our owners. We also have 2 Uptime Award winners. We're on the board for ISO 55000, the TC251. We're members of that. We work with them with the global standards for asset management. And, we're a solutions award winner. So with that, I'm proud of the company. I'm proud of who we are. And again, I appreciate you joining us. A little bit about what we do, a little more in depth. We do a lot of training. We have some online self-paced courses. So if you're looking to get your CMRP or even your CRL, you can, take Ramesh's course. So it's based upon his book. It's a self-paced online course. Also, if you're an organization looking for training to put into your LMS and to give to people within your organization, we can sell the SCORM file. SCORM file is basically a file that you can upload into your LMS, and it gives you full access to the training, unlimited licensing. With that, we appreciate that. I also have one for lubrication, a lubrication basics course that I did, basically 5 modules that'll help prep you for your MLT1 certification. We also do a lot of services. Our main services is working with operations and maintenance to do plant turnarounds. What I mean by that is we take struggling plants or reactive plants, and we make them profitable, teaching you along the way how to keep it profitable and sustained. And again, like I said, we have the book, Maintenance and Reliability Best Practice. And with that, let's get started with today's webinar. So first things first, to build a departmental plan, to understand your need for a plan, we first have to understand some things. Okay, a plan is a roadmap. And if we want to have any ability to be successful, we have to detail out our plan. And what is a plan? I want to define terms. For those of you that know me, I love to define terms because I think we use language very lazily and it creates a lot of confusion. And so I like to define terms. A plan is a detailed formulation of a program of action. That is a plan. Okay. This is your roadmap that'll give you the ability to get from point A, which is where you are today, current state, to point B, wherever it is you want to go, future state. Okay, from point A to point B. If you think about Google Maps, when you type in where you are and where your destination is, okay, Google Maps is a plan on how to get you where you want to go. And as a leader, the biggest thing is this sets direction for your department. And the more detail that you have in your plan, the more likely it is you get to point B. It's very unlikely you'll be successful without a plan. Now, there's a difference between a plan and a strategy. Everybody says, oh, what's your strategy? What's this? Strategic goals, strategy this, strategy that. When really, you're talking about a plan. And what happens is within your plan, There'll be a set of actions that you need to take in order to achieve your overall goals, your mission, your vision, your values. That is the strategy. The strategy is your plan of action on how, at the tactical level, you're going to achieve your plan. That is a strategy. So a plan is a big document. Strategy is a piece of that plan. Let's move on. Let me give you an example. Let's just say from where you are, I want you to go over there. You know, that place over there. You're like, where? Joe, there's no detail. I know exactly. And this is giving you benefit of the doubt. And in most organizations, maintenance managers don't have a plan. They have no clue where they're going, or in their head, they might have something. But guess what? No one else knows. It's not documented. It's not communicated. It's not shared with people. It's not written down. You haven't grabbed people, asked them what they think. You haven't set a vision, mission for your own department. And then we get upset at people when they do work that's outside of in our head, whatever we thought was supposed to be the right thing to do. And we get upset with them. But guess whose fault that is? That is your fault. That is a lack of leadership. This is why you need a plan. If I just say, go over there, over there. You're like, where's over there? There, over there. You're not giving anybody any direction. And again, that's given benefit of the doubt. But typically we operate in this world we call chaos. And the reason there's chaos is because we don't have a plan. And we're not operating to that plan to get us from point A to point B. Half of us don't even know what point A is. We're so reactive. We don't take the time to even understand our current state, let alone where we'd like to go. Where would you like to go? We need to get better. Okay, that's not a plan. That's hope. Hope for the hopeless. Not really. I would say directionless. But it basically looks like the scribble. We'll go over here and we'll do that and we'll go do this thing. That thing over here in that place. And we're going to go there because that's where I want to go. And every day it changes. It's chaotic and it doesn't work. And for whatever reason, we'll look at, I need a plan. Well, that's kind of corny. Okay. If you think it's corny, so be it. That shows your level of immaturity or your level of ignorance, and you don't quite understand the importance of having a plan, following a plan, and seeing it through to execution. So you have a couple options: have a plan or don't have a plan. So you can have chaos, complain about reactivity, lose hope that you're never going to get there, or you can sit and develop a plan. Yes, it takes time and it's work, but it's not as hard as you think it is. What if I at least had a little bit of detail? I'll show you this map. I want to get from over here in Wisconsin down to Arizona. What's the probability I get from Wisconsin to Arizona? It's still a little too high level, but at least I have a map, a little bit of a map. Maybe I'll get lucky and get there. It might take me 3 years to finally get there instead of, the whatever it is, 20 hours or whatever it takes to drive to get there. So it might be inefficient, but at least I'm putting a little more detail and people can start to see the vision of where we want to go. But how successful will you be if it's just this? Get better. Let's get better. What if you had all the directions to get from Madison to Yuma? What's your likelihood of success at this point? It's probably a lot higher. And so the more detail we have, the better. Now, this is a living, breathing document, and we have to develop the discipline to come back to it all the time, try to understand it, and work to achieve the things that we set forth in the plan. But first, you need to have one. And once you have one, you've got to communicate it, let people know what's going on, engage them, bring them in, ask them for their feedback. So a plan breaks down into different sections. So your departmental plan, the first thing you do is set a purpose. Then you set a vision. Then you set a mission. You set a set of values that you want your people to align to. And then we're going to take your vision and we're going to break it down into goals, then into objectives, then into tasks. The goal, objective, task level, that is your strategy. That's your action plan. Your purpose, vision, mission, and values, those set direction and culture. How we're going to go do work and what the expectations are. How we're going to operate. Those are important to your plan because those help you determine the decisions you're going to make when you go to achieve goals, objectives, and tasks. And then goals, objectives, and tasks are your strategy pieces. When you get down to the task level, you start assigning tasks, you start executing tasks, and the thing rolls up. So if the plan's done right, your tasks roll up to complete objectives. Objectives roll up to complete goals. Goals roll up to attain the vision. Then the vision should change. Stretch yourself a bit more. We'll get into that. A purpose statement. What is a purpose statement? A purpose statement is why we exist. This is our purpose. Society today, many people lack purpose. It's because we haven't defined it. What is it? And purpose is why we exist. Why do we exist as a maintenance department? That's a purpose statement. It's a declaration that defines why we're here. Why do we exist as a department? This also guides us. It shapes everything else. So let's cover some reasons why it's important. One, it defines the department's identity. Department, organization, yourself, whatever, whoever you're building this plan for. This template doesn't change. Whether it's a personal plan for yourself, whether it's for a department or whether it's for a plant or whether it's for an organization, you use the same template. You should have one. And you should understand, what is my department's identity? And the purpose statement will articulate that. That's what do we stand for? Why do we exist? This is what sets us apart from everybody else in the plant. It also helps with our decision making. If we can align all of our actions to why we're here, it helps us make better decisions. It also inspires and motivates. When you have a really good purpose statement, people get motivated. They have something to believe in. It starts giving them hope. The one thing we lack as leaders, giving other people, well, there's a lot that we lack, trust me. Leadership is a failure in this country. We are hurting. We are hurting. Trust me on that. We are in a very bad place, especially as much information and training that exists in leadership. We don't quite grasp it. We're failing there. But the good news is that means your competition is less. So it doesn't take much to be successful. Okay. But it should be motivating. It should give them a sense of meaning, a sense of direction. It should also shape your culture because in it, not only do we understand why we exist, but if you align it with your values, it drives behaviors. A lot of times the behaviors you want to see. And this starts to help shape your culture. And as a leader, that's your job. You set direction, you shape the culture. You're supposed to give people hope. You're supposed to be a hope dealer. Get them excited, know that the change is coming. We're going to do things different. The bar's going to be raised. We're going to set a standard. People want to be a part of something. You have to create that something for them to be a part of. This is why you have a purpose statement. It also attracts other talent and partnerships with other people. You'd be amazed at what it does. And it also provides continuity, which is awesome. Especially during times of change, we all align together because we know what right is. And the next initiative comes along, the next shiny thing from corporate comes down, and we don't get depressed. We understand politics and we change the language. Why? Because the right work never changes. So if we're doing the right work, the next shiny thing comes along, it doesn't matter. We'll adopt it. We'll change our language and adopt our language to fit it. The work doesn't change. Pulling oil samples because you need to assess condition of critical assets. That doesn't change. You can call it whatever you want, but the right work doesn't change. And we're here to do the right work. So a good example of a purpose statement is our purpose is to ensure the reliability and longevity of critical assets, empowering businesses to operate efficiently and sustainably. We believe that proactive maintenance practices not only reduce downtime and costs, but also contribute to a safer and more sustainable future for everyone. We are the catalyst in maintenance. That's what people don't understand. We are the catalyst. We're the ones that can drive the change. No one's coming to save you. No one. So we grab the bull by the horns or we get ran over by the bus. Those are the two options you have. Okay. And we have to set the purpose. Why do we exist? We are maintenance. Then you set a vision. The vision statement is a description of whatever our long-term aspirations are. You want to put a time frame on it. 5 years, typically. Within 5 years, we're going to be X, Y, and Z. We're going to go from point A to point B. We're giving hope to a change in the future, this ideal state that we're seeking, where it shows that we're going to be better. It helps for people to start to see where we're going, what the future is going to look like. A vision statement, super important. First off, sets direction. That's your job as a leader. Set direction. People are looking for direction. We pawn off leadership responsibilities onto our employees by talking about ownership and checking all these boxes and being pretenders instead of contenders. Our job is to try to be contenders, be the best at what we can do all the time instead of being pretenders. But you see so many pretenders checking the box. They don't understand anything. They think they're smarter than everybody else. And you never see them on the floor, never talking to people, never developing relationships. And that seems to be growing and growing and growing within organizations. It's a cancer, and we're in trouble. And this cancer is growing. Trust me, I see it more and more and more every day. And then it creates a rift between the shop floor and management. Because do we really care about our people? You can say you do, but if you don't give them direction, don't give them hope, don't try to help them understand that there's a better future, don't help to try to get them there, do you really care about your people? Do you know their names? Do you know their spouses' names? Do you know their kids' names? Do you know where they go to school? How are they doing? Even outside of work. How are they doing? That's our job as leaders. We have to set the direction. We have to provide a clear picture of where we're headed. This also inspires and motivates because now people are saying, okay, this guy means business. We'll see. But they're getting excited, but they're not going to admit it because they haven't seen your plan. But you share your vision. This also helps guide decision making. It also helps you define success. It'll also differentiate you. There isn't another department in any of your organization that's going to have a vision statement for their department. Hardly any. The probability is very low. Even if they do, are they living it? When you start to give people hope and a sense of freedom and ability to go out and do things and listening to them and trying to implement the things that they've been asking for, that fosters innovation. And that's what you want, to be best in class. Then you have a mission statement. The mission statement, so you have a purpose. This is why we exist. A vision. Where are we going? Why do we exist? Where are we going? Mission statement is how we're going to operate based on a set of expectations. This helps us align basically our values with the rest of the plan. This is how we're going to do work. This is how we're going to operate. This is the standard we are going to do work by. You're setting an expectation. This is how high the bar is going to be for you. I'm raising the bar. Why? Because I see greatness in you and I love you. And because I see that greatness in you, I'm holding you to a higher standard. I want you to be great. This is how we're going to do work. So a mission statement helps to clarify. You're defining how we're going to operate to achieve the vision. This is also motivation. Who wouldn't want to be a part of being the best? If you don't want to be a part of being the best, you're probably not a fit here within our organization or within our department. And our mission will help our decision making. It also shapes our culture. It helps to build trust and credibility, especially if you're living it. If you're checking the box and don't care about your people, hypocrisy will be your greatest downfall. No one will trust you and you'll have no credibility. So if you don't care about people, you have no business being in management. We're in the people business. I don't know how many companies I see that have managers that don't care about people. I've even heard recently kids coming out of college with engineering degrees told me, I didn't go into engineering to lead people. I said, why did you take the management job then? Find another job. Go be a design engineer in a cubbyhole somewhere. This isn't the right place for you. If you're in a management position, you have to care about people. We keep overloading the top with people that don't want to deal with other people. This is the danger. This is what I'm saying. This is why we're in a world of hurt. It's not going to be too long. Companies are going to start crumbling. There's a lot of companies that are already bankrupt. They just keep skimming along through acquisition to keep their books looking good. But there's a lot of companies that don't have cash. They're already in a bad place, and it's only getting worse. A mission statement also helps you drive accountability. I have clear expectations for performance based on my mission statement. Here's the bar. We're elevating the bar. We're maintenance. We're the best in the world, and we're going to show it. That's how we're going to operate. We're in a service industry. Operations is our customer. They're our number one customer. They'll be satisfied customers because of the way we operate in maintenance. Clear expectation, performance, behavior. I don't want to hear you complaining about operators. Train them. We're the best. We set the standard. That's how we do work. That's your mission statement. And then values. Values are beliefs in action. If you are not going to put them in action, don't share them. We come up with all these different values because they're cliche, they sound really good, and none of us live by them. You walk into organizations all the time, you say, what are your values? Teamwork. Well, why are you guys infighting? Oh, I don't like that guy. I don't like her. She doesn't like me. I thought teamwork was a value. Is this something you live, or are you just showing up and getting a paycheck? Again, are you a contender or a pretender? Are you checking a box, making it sound good? Because truly living the values, this is where you develop credibility and trust as a leader. Because people see you walking the walk. It gives them guiding principles, and they see you living by it. They know you're not a hypocrite. And they'll start acting like it. Values set guiding principles and behavioral standards and help you with the culture. It helps you develop those expectations. It helps you find common ground when there's conflict. Conflict's healthy as long as it's not toxic. But having a healthy disagreement because of a way we're going to do something is good. It requires us to think, how can we solve the problem? Because your way is good and their way is good. How are we going to solve this? Values also help with engagement. When you're living them, they have to be beliefs in action. Don't create values you don't believe in. Don't say hard work and all they do is seeing you sitting in the office all day. How can you have a hard work value when you're never to be found? Just because you're running around busy doesn't mean you're working hard. There's a difference. Hard work adds value. Jogging up and down the hallway, unless you're a personal trainer, doesn't add value. And this also helps with accountability. Somebody does something that they shouldn't have done. Hey, man, help me understand. The bar's up here. Why would you do your work? Why didn't you use a torque wrench? Help me understand. If we're going to be the best and you know you should be using a torque wrench, why are you not using the torque wrench? Do you think the best in the world don't use torque wrenches? Help me understand. There's an expectation. We should operate at that expectation. This also helps develop ownership. Because when we align on values, we all feel like it's ours. And we won't let anybody take that from us. Look at our country and how polarized it is. The reason for that is because we no longer align on values. One side has one set of values, one side has another set of values. And those values collide. Therefore, there's polarization. Because we're not united on those values, we'll never have a united culture. You think about a country, an organization is like a mini country. And if you can't align on values, you probably should move to a different country or a different company that does have your values. Some examples of values: quality of work. Never forget the customer. That's why we exist. Your operations group does not produce product. You don't get a paycheck because you won't have a business. I think we need to understand that. We don't see things that way because we don't understand the business. But get rid of all your operators and tell me how much product you produce. Get rid of sales and marketing. Tell me how much product you sell that gives you the volumes to produce. We forget that. Teamwork, ownership, enthusiasm, integrity. We will operate with personal accountability and responsibility with the highest ethical standard. Integrity. We'll do what we say we're going to do. Here's some examples. With goals are 3 to 5 year long-term desires of future results that break down the vision. You look at your vision and where you want to be, and you break it down into goals. Those 3 to 5 year things that we need to achieve in order to attain the vision. Goals are highly important. It creates clarity. It also helps with direction, motivation, management, and evaluation to see if we're progressing correctly or if we need to adjust the plan. It helps with accountability. It helps with professional and personal growth. When you were 100% reactive and now you look back a year later and realize that you're half reactive and half proactive, that's exponential growth because you now have direction and you're all charging forward, heading for the same thing, trying to get practices in place, trying to get processes in place, trying to get better at what we do, all of us learning and growing together. Every year we look, see where we are, look back at where we came from, celebrate, and move forward. Make tomorrow better than today. Goals help you align, starts to bring the vision, the mission, the values together, and the purpose. So these are 3 to 5 year. Then we go to objectives. Objectives now break down the goals. So you have a vision. Your vision is broken down into goals. Your goals are now broken down into objectives. Objectives are breaking down your goals into smaller, like 1 year desired results. And there'll be a series of objectives that have to be completed in order for you to attain your goal. Continuing to break it down, you start to see the plan come to fruition, especially the strategy portion, the action plan on how we're going to achieve the vision. First, we have a vision. In 5 years, I want to be the best, blah, blah, blah. Well, in order to be the best, what does that mean in maintenance? Well, I have to have a world-class PDM program. I have to have a world-class lubrication program. Right? You start listing those things out. Those are 3 to 5 year goals. World-class lubrication program, world-class PDM program. Well, if I have a world-class PDM program, I need to break those into objectives then, because PDM consists of 5 technologies typically when we're talking about it, which means I need a world-class ultrasound program, a world-class infrared program, a world-class vibes program, world-class motor circuit analysis program, a world-class oil analysis program. Now I have these 5 objectives. And my goal is in the next year to take one of those and try to make them world-class, and then focus on the next one, and focus on the next one, and focus on the next one. Or whatever you decide technologies are the ones you should be using. Maybe it's not all 5. That's okay. Maybe you contract vibration. Okay. But you still need to hold people to a standard, be able to get data, understand data, interpret data, so you can do something with it. And now if I complete those objectives and I'm world-class in the technologies, I've now attained my goal, which is world-class PDM, which means I'm one step closer to achieving my vision of being the best at doing maintenance. You starting to see how this is coming together? And now we have to break things into tasks. So each objective, there's a series of tasks that have to take place in order to complete that objective. Well, it's great to have a world-class ultrasound program. But if I don't even have the technology, well, task number 1 is build a business case to justify buying the technology. Then I got to train to the technology. Then I've got to start setting up routes, whether it's air leaks or part of my strategy with looking at structure-borne bearings, gearboxes, motors, those types of things, pumps. So now all your tasks start coming out. What are all the tasks that I have to do in order to have a world-class ultrasound program? And that's the part that's living and breathing. Because you're not going to know it all. You get people in a room and say, what's all the things that we need to do? And you list them out. And they're only going to know certain stuff. Because if they knew what it took to be world-class today, you'd probably already be there. So as you're learning, you're going to realize, whoa, well, crap. I thought I needed to do this. Really, I need to do this and this. This is a living, breathing document. It's going to change. It doesn't have to be perfect when you roll it out. This is the mistake people make. That's why they say a bad plan executed will beat a perfect plan never executed. Every time. Because doing something is better than doing nothing. And we get held up by perfection when we can't attain it. It's unrealistic. Yes, this plan isn't going to be perfect, but it's a lot better than what we're dealing with today. So if we can start progressing and doing some of these tasks, and when we find something that we need to adjust, we adjust it. It's really not that difficult. We make this hard on ourselves. It's really, really simple. It's just work. And we're all working hard. So it's not like we don't work hard. It's just a different type of work. And when you get down to those tasks, it makes it manageable to where now eating an elephant one spoonful at a time. What we do is we look at the elephant and go, there's no way I can eat that elephant. Yeah, you can. You just haven't broken it down into manageable tasks. You just see elephant, which is your vision. I would love to be world class elephant, world class. We go, but I'll never be able to eat it. And we give up there. This is why you develop a departmental plan and you break it down into manageable tasks where you're eating that elephant one spoonful at a time. Here's an example. In 5 years, we'll develop into the organizational standard. The reason I always start with the organizational standard is because I want to be the one setting standard for maintenance. Once that's achieved, we'll now move it to I want to be world class in my industry or best in class in my industry. But until I'm the organizational standard, I set the standard for maintenance within my organization. I don't need to be shooting for being best in the industry. So we are going to have the best maintenance program in our organization. And my mission is as a unified team, we'll develop a reliability culture which will achieve our business priorities through empowerment, engagement, and training. And we will understand that reliability is the input. Everybody focuses on outputs, safety, quality, growth, cost, service, public relations, whatever. Not understanding that until you're reliable, you won't attain any of those outputs. But we'll focus on the output instead of on the input to change the outputs. How many plants have you seen with the best safety record in the world that was unreliable? How many plants have you seen with the highest quality product that was unreliable? How many companies have you seen that produce things at the lowest cost per life cycle cost? Not cheap, lowest cost. That was unreliable. They don't exist because without reliability, you don't have any of your desired outputs. And then I have goals, world-class PDM program, lubrication program, PM program, whatever. You just break maintenance into chunks, and those chunks become goals. And then you take each goal and you break it into objectives. World-class PDM program, great. I need a world-class ultrasound program. Then you break down each objective into the tasks. And then what you do when you have your task list is you do what's called the 90-day plan. The 90-day plan is where you assign some of these tasks to owners in your maintenance shop or whatever department you're in, and you give them 90 days to complete those tasks. And every 90 days, you'll meet and follow up. The tasks that get done get knocked off the list, and we put the next tasks on the list and assign those tasks. Well, you have to realize the storm is always going to be there, or the fire, whatever you want to call it. The question is it a controllable fire or is it an uncontrollable fire? And so the more out of control you are, the harder it's going to be to complete tasks. That's okay, but you got to start somewhere. Set time aside for people. I'm going to give you 4 hours a week to complete these tasks. When you get them done, come see me. I have a whole lot of tasks that need to get done. So if you get some done early, we can continue to add to it to build the program. As we're building the program, you should start to see the fires slowly going away. If it's not going away, you're not doing the right work. It's your measure. As you complete a bunch of tasks, the fire should slowly get smaller and smaller and smaller. And if it's not, it means you're not effective. Your plan's not effective. We missed the mark. We need to revisit. Let's see where we missed it. Because our fire should be shrinking until you get to a certain point where now fire's under control, but there's still a fire. That's going to exist. It's just going to be smaller and controlled. So with that, it's important that we set a clear purpose, a clear mission, a clear vision. Those are the foundational pieces of a successful plan. And then the goals, objectives, and tasks make up the action plan called a strategy. And strategies are what help provide the roadmap for achieving your goals and breaking everything down into manageable steps. The elephant exists. How do I break it down? The elephant is my vision. I want to go from point A to point B. You don't understand, Joe. This manager and that and this and that. Okay. Sure. It's great excuses. Grab the bull by the horns, build the plan, execute the strategy, which is all the tasks to achieve the objectives and goals. Keep it simple. Don't try to outsmart or be smarter than everybody else. No one cares. There's no value in it. Keep it simple. It's really simple. I need an ultrasound program. Okay, what are tasks? Well, I got to buy a gun. I got to train people to the gun. I've got to set up routes and I got to execute the routes. It's that easy. Don't make it complex. Then go execute the routes. And when they go execute the routes, is the bearing good or not? If the bearing's not good, write a work order. Then when the bearing gets replaced, we need communication so that we can go get a new baseline. Then we can start our baselines. Then we can start precision lubrication and start taking care of our bearings. It's honestly that simple. We try to make things so complex. We're too smart for our own good. It's honestly that simple. Keep it simple. Communicate your plan. It's great to have one, keeping it close to your chest, but it's not going to do anything for you. Sell people on the vision. Sell people on the mission. Let them show them you are the one that's going to take them there. That's your job. Lead. Communicate. Care about your people. Again, it's not real complex stuff. We don't do those basics well. We think there's some smarter way or whatever. And that gets us in a situation to where we're checking boxes, we get kicked and give up. But all you've done then is failed yourself. Just communicate it. And what I'm telling you is do it now. Take everything I just taught you, those steps, purpose, vision, mission, values, goals, objectives, tasks. Type it out in a Word document. Just start filling in the blanks and work it out. Do it now. And you'll have a plan. My plans are typically between 16 and 30 pages when I first start. And again, the task lists grow as we dig deeper into things and try to get better at things and trying to solve other problems, and other things arise and obstacles come up and we've got to remove those obstacles. Stuff happens. That's the maintenance world. That's why we love maintenance, because we never know what we're going to get from day to day. But do it now. Do it now. And with that, I appreciate you guys joining me for departmental plan. If you have any questions, send me an email. My email address is joseph.anderson@reliabilityx.com. Visit our website for information, content, anything you guys like. We have a store. There's a bunch of cool stuff in there that you can buy. Check out Captain Unreliability. I've been back on my Captain Unreliability kick, so a lot of new articles coming out this year. You'll see them every month in Plant Services. Look them up on Plant Services. Have a good time with it. Let me know what you think. Okay, we have our podcast, Practical Reliability. It's on 10 platforms: Spotify, iHeart, Google Podcasts, Amazon, Apple. And check out our YouTube channel. There's a bunch of videos up there that can help too. It's all free content. Subscribe, offer feedback. We appreciate it. There's a webinar evaluation. If you would scan the QR code, a form will come up. It's just a few quick questions. Give us some feedback. The webinar code for this one is 2024_18. Give me feedback. Let me know what you think. Let us know if there's topics you would like us to cover so we can cover those in future webinars. So again, give us feedback. If you have any questions, let us know. Check out all of our socials. Check out our website. Check out Plant Services. Again, I appreciate you for being here. Thank you for spending your time with me. You guys have a great rest of your week.